Hey, this is a rig walk around I've been looking forward to doing for quite a while. We have Nick and Lisa of MadeMan925 on Instagram, and this is their 2014 Tacoma, and we're going to talk about some of the components on this rig. A little bit different than some of the other Overland rigs that we have done a walk around on. Some very impressive gear. When did you start getting into off-roading and overlanding?
So I think it all really goes back to Scouts. So I'm an Eagle Scout,
yeah.
And she's a Girl Scout, and she was still active.
I did not know you were an Eagle Scout. That is impressive, sir. That is awesome.
So she was still active in Scouts. She still tries to do summer camps and stuff for the Scouts and help with backpacking and stuff.
Cool.
So when we started dating, we did a lot of camping, and we really liked it. It was a lot of car camping. But we really got tired of camping in those campsites where you get the 10 by 10 and there's like people right next to you and you have all the amenities in the world.
4th of July, it's packed.
Yeah, and it's
you have
just
to do
loud,
it. Yeah,
and there's quiet hours also, and
random people running through.
So we decided like this is not for us.
Yeah.
We went and bought a 2014 TRD 4x4. The day it came out, the day the 2014s came out, I was there. It came off the truck with like 3 miles on it, and I got there. I was like, "That's my truck." This was not the plan. This was not it at all. I promised her I was just going to put a 3-inch lift on it, and I did that.
And then we plasti dipped the badges.
We did all like the beginner bro stuff. But the more we kept camping, and the more we wanted to go farther and farther away from society. And the more research I did, we basically started building this, and it's gone through a big process to get where it is today. And we can talk about all the stages, but basically that's how we found overlanding. Is we just started building an expedition rig without really knowing it.
Right.
And then the more you Google expedition stuff, overlanding just comes up and gets in your face. In the beginning, a lot of people were attracted to my truck because it was a 2014 and I had it the day they came out, and I got a Grillcraft grill from Grillcraft, and then I asked Bay Area Metal Fab, or at the time he was cutting out letters that said Toyota or Tacoma. So I got the letters, and she actually did it. She counted it out and she put all the letters across the grill, perfect. And then I just had people hitting me up every day on Instagram. How'd you make that grill? Where did you get that grill? I want that grill. And they didn't understand that you had to buy like a Toyota grill, cut out the center of it, put in a Grillcraft grill, and then put letters on it. Yeah. Like, I'm not sure how many people actually did it, but we had, I don't know, it had to be a few hundred people hit us up about how to make this grill. Yeah, so power-wise, to power the fridge and everything, and all the off-road lights, I have 2 Optima batteries, a yellow top and a red top. So the red top's for starting. And the only thing the red top runs is the truck and the winch. And the yellow battery, the Optima, runs the fridge, all the accessories, and that's getting all the power from the solar directly. And that all goes through the Blue Sea relay to keep the power even.
So your yellow top Optima, alternator, end?
So yeah,
power?
if the red top is full from the alternator, and it has a good charge, it'll transfer power to the yellow, and reverse when the truck's not on and there's a good charge coming in from the sun, it'll transfer power from the yellow to the red.
Got it.
So between that, I've never had power issues at all.
Is that a custom wiring harness in the corner there?
Yeah, so I knew that was gonna come up. So basically this truck was built nights and weekends. I promise you it is safe. So I did a Smitty built 10,000 pound winch with synthetic line. It's their 2nd gen winch.
I already asked Nick if I can touch his truck. He said I could.
He actually didn't.
Can I touch your truck?
Yeah, you can. So it's their 2nd gen winch. I believe their 1st gens had some solenoid issues, so I knew I didn't want to go there. The lights in the front are a mix of Baja Designs and Rampage lighting with Factor 55, Flat Link, and Fairlead. And the bumper is a Relentless bumper. And it's not a bumper they just make because I added, it had a summit hoop, which is that center hoop. And then later on I wanted the side hoops. And now they call it the Honey Badger bumper. It's the only one with both designs on one bumper.
Like literally, this is the only bumper.
This is
Yeah.
the only bumper that has the summit tube, which is
Yep.
this and this, with the side tubes.
Got it.
Because our Predator bumper has the side tubes, but not.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I've noticed just walking around your rig is how reinforced everything is. You have to be really careful with bumpers and armor, right? Because if you don't go with the right manufacturer, it might look like something out of Mad Max.
It's very true.
But then it's actually sort of tinny and not very structural. But everything I've seen on your rig has been.
So it's
just,
actually,
you
it
can
was a
tell.
process to get there. I actually had many other manufacturers' stuff on the truck, and the reason it's not there anymore is because I found something better or I broke what was on the truck.
Got it.
So that's how I got to where I am, and actually everything on the truck now has been on there for over a year, armor-wise, and has been through a bunch of tests, and it's all still doing great.
You've done Slick Rock recently, and you guys go on fairly hardcore trails, hardcore stuff.
Yeah, so we wanted this truck to be able to do the overlanding thing as well as a little bit of rock crawling.
Yep.
I mean, it's gone through the Rubicon, and we do Slick Rock all the time. It's probably the closest trail to our house that's some fun wheeling. We took it to Moab 2 years in a row. We've done Trifecta in Moab and Hell's Revenge and all the fun, tough ones we've done out there. And the truck's done it all. And I really haven't had any issues or broken anything significant.
Cool. Tires, how'd you settle on these?
So I had 33s, and a buddy of mine was selling his 35-inch MTRs, and he had 5 of them. And he said, "Hey, I'm hoping to get like $1,300 for them.
Yep.
If you could do it today, they're yours." And I was like, "Done." So I drove up there and I bought him because he was going the 37s because he was solid axle swapping his truck to be more of a rock crawler. And then I also was talking to a guy on Tacoma World who was selling 5 blemished SCS rims with a tiny bit of scratches, and he was taking a lot off for that. And I was like, "Hey, I don't care. I'll be there," because I knew I was going to mess them up
You're just gonna
anyway.
scratch them up anyway.
And they're destroyed now. But
If you guys are even having the debate about 33s versus 35s, just go with 35s. Just do it.
so it's actually very hard to fit a 35 on a Tacoma.
Okay.
Because it's actually a mid-sized truck. To do it with just a 3-inch lift or lower, it takes a fair amount of trimming and work,
Right.
and then you also have to re-gear the truck to do it properly.
Yep.
So yeah, they look awesome and they're great, and I love them, and I'm so glad I'm not on 33s anymore. But yeah, it's a lot of work. And one reason I am able to fit it with 2.5 inches of lift is because I'm long traveled.
Right.
Which,
Well, tell us about the long travel suspension. You actually installed the suspension,
Lisa installed
right?
it.
Yes,
Yep.
I did. I did all of the work on it. He was the brains behind the whole operation. Instructed me on everything to do. We did it in one day.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was a whole
day.
Yeah, a whole day.
So
I'm sure
basically,
woke up early, ended at night.
so when you lift the truck, you're getting taller. With long traveling, you're getting wider. So all my arms on both sides are 2 inches longer. And my steering is 2 inches longer, and I'm able to fit a big coil over there in there with a lot more travel up and down. And that's also why I can clear that 35-inch tire at full lock.
Now, for long distance overlanding, there are those that would say that long travel suspension on an overland rig is like, there's no place for that. Because you might break stuff or it's more complicated. What do you have to say about that?
There's a lot of that out there, and I totally understand all the arguments against it. You can't just go to your normal parts store or Toyota dealership and get parts. So you have to be good with getting spares and knowing that if you break an arm or something, you're going to have to get it welded. But with Toyota Total Chaos, I mean, everything on there is gusseted, reinforced, boxed. I mean, you're not going to break anything unless you're trying to jump it. And I'm not planning on jumping it. It's a little heavy of a truck.
And if you are going super long distance, if you're going to be on the road for months and months, you're going to keep that in mind too, right?
Yeah.
You probably will do less hardcore stuff if you're in the middle of South America.
It's very true. And another reason someone might be against long travel is you don't have sway bars anymore.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more lean on the truck on the highway, and you can't do any aggressive maneuvers. Basically, you're just going straight. When you got to avoid something, you're going to hit it. So, but off-road, it rides amazing. I have the most amazing flex for an IFS truck like you wouldn't believe.
Yep.
There are tons of photos on my Instagram of my truck, just one wheel way high and the other one super low.
Yeah.
And it's totally been awesome and worth it.
Okay. As far as snorkel, do you put that to use?
So I got that for dust. So when I went with 35s, I had to eliminate my wheel liners, and Toyota put the intake for the engine right in the wheel well. So right away I figured out I can't do this. I was throwing away filters like every month. So the quick option for that was my buddy was going fiberglass on his fenders, so he was like, "Oh, do you want my snorkel?" So I bought it off him real cheap. It's actually for a HiLites. At the time they didn't make one for Tacoma. And so it's a little different. It doesn't match the lines 100% perfect, but it does fit and it does work and keep everything dry and clean.
You bring up a good point. A lot of people, as soon as they see this, they assume that you're trying to boat your rig, right? And not the case, right? It's clean air, cool air, and then I would even argue the last use is probably for
if I'm that deep in water,
crossing.
I'm in trouble because the engine
You're
computer
floating,
is
right?
the engine computer is like lower than the snorkel.
Right.
So I've already destroyed that, and it's probably going to stop running anyway.
Right. All right. Now moving around the truck here, your sliders. I saw this. That would have saved me. That would have saved me a fender in the past. I love that. That's great.
So yeah, they're relentless sliders, and I ordered them with the 2-piece kickout and the thicker square tube on the inside. And he also gussets that kickout with a gusset.
Yep.
And all that damage you can see underneath and around is all from this year. I actually I sand them and paint them every year in the winter to keep them not rusty.
Right.
And ready for the next season.
And when you do that, when you repaint them, you just rattle can it?
Oh yeah, I just take a piece of cardboard and I hold it up and I just spray it all along. And it's worked out fine the last few years.
Yeah, adopting a little bit different mindset when you use your rig, right? It's utilitarian.
We get that all the time.
Let's touch base on your solar panel up top. I heard it clicking back and forth, and you told me it's cycling through the batteries.
So basically, I have a 100-watt solar panel on the roof, and it goes through a charge controller. And once I have a Blue Sea dual battery management system, so once it senses power and one battery is at a significant charge, it'll split the power between the two.
You have your fridge here in the back?
It's right here. So,
let's take a look.
If you want a cold water, it's at 38 degrees right there.
Yep.
And the reason it sits like that, a lot of people are like, why don't you have a tray? Why don't you have this? Well, we do a lot of different things. Sometimes we have friends come with us, and they need to sit in the back seat. So I can't do a system that's always going to be the same.
We were chatting before the cameras were rolling about the number of people that could possibly sleep with this setup, and we stopped counting and just said small village.
Pretty much.
Because you have 2 tents, and then if you put the awnings on the tents, and or the vestibule on the tent, and then you have an awning which also has walls. I mean, it would be.
So we don't normally run 2 tents.
Cabin, yeah.
We're actually going to Death Valley next weekend, so the truck's set up to be a lone structure by itself.
Okay, and then safe to assume relentless fab on the rear bumper.
The rear bumper is also relentless fab.
Yep.
It's a high clearance dual swing out with side protection, and I use it. Underneath is all missing a lot of paint, and that's because I scrape it. The Tacoma has a very long wheelbase and it's a very long truck.
Is this just another part of your suspension right here?
Pretty much. Yeah.
How long have you had the trailer? What was some of your guys' thoughts when you were considering a trailer?
So,
well, he went and bought the trailer without me when I was at training for Girl Scout camp. I was gone for the weekend. He went on a different trip over to Eagle Lakes, and a guy who was on the trip had it. And